everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexa and today I want to talk about ブラック企業 or black companies. Everyone has this extremely unrealistic image of Japan as the perfect country where you can easily find a job, everything is okay, but it's not. There are also a lot of companies that are black companies. What does that mean? Actually, this term was coined in 2000 from a young IT and was spread around the internet as a meme. This term referred to really bad companies. When we think about ブラック企業, black companies, we usually think immediately of the Chinese factories, but it's a bit different. Here in Japan, those companies have really specific characteristics. For example, those companies are companies that force workers to work overtime, as we saw in Dentsu case. I made a video, if you want to check it out, you're free to do so. Force the employees to work overtime, usually never pay the overtime hours, can make some reductions in the salary to punish the employees, or sometimes unexplained reductions. Force the employees to work on holidays and almost never allow them to have paid vacations. In those companies might exist power harassment. Sometimes the managerial positions are gained in a suspicious way, and employees might not even be able to retire. These are the characteristics of a black company here in Japan, and yes, they exist. What is interesting is that in 2012, it was created a committee that give those companies a reward for the worst company of the year. This committee is formed by activists, lawyers, and also university professors. And exists also a group of lawyers, 50 lawyers all around Japan that collect information on those companies, exchange those information, and also volunteer to represent the victims. But this whole movement to give a reward to the worst company to be so is something that was created voluntarily by people, lawyers, activists, professors, journalists. Is not something official from the government. But how about the law and the government? Well, in 2013, the Health, Labor and Welfare Ministry announced that they will do some investigations about those companies. And in case those companies will effectively result guilty for those violations, they will be removed from the list of job seeking that the employment office always referred to. The obvious question is why those companies still work, still exist, even if they are the worst. Well, those companies treat poorly the employees, not the customers. They still have a huge profit and are really big companies or chains sometimes. So it's not favorable for the government to stop or punish those companies. What they can do is just removing them from the seeking job lists. But anyway, those companies give profit to the country, so nothing actively will be done. Now let's take a look at some companies, and I will put the link in the description down below. As always, check it yourself, it's really interesting. Let's go. So this is the website where you can check. It's called Black Company Biz, and you can also see the companies on a map, which is extremely fascinating because you can see where it is, how close to your house it is, and you can see just Japan and not other countries because this terminology is actually here in Japan. It's surprising that in Hokkaido there aren't that many except for Sapporo. And we can also see the huge amount of companies is basically around the Tokyo area, Kobe and Osaka. This is really interesting because Tokyo and Osaka are really huge cities, especially when it comes to job opportunity. And it's also funny to have a website where you can find the map, the actual position of those companies, but they still exist and still work. So this is how it looks like. On the website, actually, you can click on those skeleton face emoji and they will tell you the name of the company, the website, and also the address, which is extremely fun. The website will bring you to explore this company and the reason why it's a black company, which is extremely interesting and fascinating for me. I read it in Japanese, but on your website, if you open the link on your webpage, you can basically translate it, so there is no problem if you want to check it out. I honestly suggest you to check it because it's extremely interesting and people tend to not talk about the problems here in Japan. That's also the reason why I'm doing those videos, is because if you talk about what's happening, the negative aspects of a culture, of a country, of the economy, of the society, those things will change in time. If you just acknowledge them and then ignore what's next, then nothing will really change. Even if those companies have a bad reputation, they don't really do anything to change those situations. So it's the same old story. As long as you bring an income, everything is okay. Here is Osaka and we have Kobe. We can just scroll the map and see Hiroshima, Fukuoka. There are a lot. I think it should be surprising the number of companies that exist rather than surprising that in some cities are not. And let's see also some happenings. Basically in 2013 news of this Watami Food Service and Co. Watami Food Service and Co. is a chain of restaurants. And it's shocking because it was nominated for worst company, black company of the year. And the reason is because the founder of the company, Miki Watanabe, was bullying the employees. In 2008 appeared this news about him harassing Mina Mori, an employee, and also the manager of one of his restaurants. Also, he was manipulating the paychecks and always subtract something unexpectedly and without explanation. One of the previous managers said that he will always harass him verbally, saying a lot of times, you should die, you should kill yourself. And Minamori was one of the victims. She was pressured to kill herself because she had not enough value. He also wrote a book and took off from the salary of his employees the price of the book. Not happy just with that, he also forced them to buy the book. So basically the employees had to pay the double of the price of his book. But this is just one of the cases. Sometimes, as it's the case from 7-Eleven, and here we can debate. 7-Eleven Japan actually was nominated the worst company of the year, black company of the year, because they manipulated the best before date on some lunch boxes. Years later, there was a news, a sort of a documentary of NHK that explained that 7-Eleven was changing the expiring date of the onigiri and lunchbox because of the food waste in Japan. So it's a really tricky topic because I will make another video and explain about this 7-Eleven policy and hiding the date and food waste here in Japan. Not only that, 7-Eleven Japan was paying the part-time workers less than the minimum wage rate of the salary. But those are just few examples. There are a lot of other companies. There is another website, I will put in the link down below. It's the Black Corp Award website where you can find, this is in Japanese, but again, you can translate your website. So this is the most evil corporation of the year award website. Here you can see this is for 2017, but here on the left you can see the 8th Black Enterprise Awards 2019 web voting. As you can see, we had KDDI Corporation, 7-Eleven on second place, Dentsu on the third one. We also have Toyota Motor Company on the 6th and Rakuten on 9th. Rakuten is a huge platform, an online shop that has also like a card system. And if you want to know more about those companies and why they are the worst, you can fact check on this website. It's really interesting. I think it's really interesting to learn more about those companies and to see why they are the worst. Also because we can see at the 6th place as worst company, as worst black company of the year, at the 6th place Toyota Motor Corporation. But at the same time, Toyota was also the first of the best companies of the year, together with Google and Sony. This is the website where you can find the best companies of the year and why they are the best in terms of products, in terms of sales, in terms of employees and satisfaction. So it's also interesting to find them out. Thank you for today. Thank you so much for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate that. I'm so happy to do these videos for you and talk more about what's going on here in Japan and things that people don't usually talk about, those taboos. Next video is gonna be about the taboo in Japan. Why some topics are not talked about on TV and newspapers. Why? And I am also working on a food waste video because the numbers are shocking. Thank you for today. See you in the next video.